In the day's other news, President Biden says New York Governor Andrew Cuomo should step down if an investigation confirms allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct. The president spoke during an interview with ABC News that aired this morning. He was asked if Cuomo should resign.
Yes, I think he probably ended up being prosecuted, too. A woman should be presumed to telling the truth and should not be scapegoated and become victimized by her coming forward, number one. But there should be an investigation to determine whether what she says is true. That's what's going on now.
Mr. Biden also conceded that it will be tough to pull U.S. troops out of Afghanistan by the May 1st deadline that was agreed to by the Trump administration. And for the first time, the president also voiced support for changing the Senate's filibuster rule to require lawmakers to talk on the floor if they want to hold up a bill. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had warned of a, quote, scorched earth if Democrats end the filibuster. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas today refused to characterize the influx of migrant children into the U.S. as a crisis. Testifying before a congressional hearing, Mayorkas instead said that a term more applicable to the Trump administration's family separation policy. We'll get a Republican perspective on immigration from Wyoming Senator John Barrasso after the news summary. The Federal Reserve today said that it will keep its key interest rate near zero through 2023. In Washington, Chairman Jerome Powell said that he remains hopeful that the economy will accelerate this year.
We do expect that we'll begin to make faster progress on both spending, labor markets and inflation as the year goes on because of the progress with the vaccines, because of the fiscal support that we're getting. We expect that to happen, but, we'll have to see it first.
Meanwhile, the IRS is extending its deadline to file federal taxes until May 17th. That is to give Americans more time during the pandemic. Stocks climbed higher on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 189 points to close at 33,015. The Nasdaq rose 53 points, and the S&P 500 added 11. The U.S. has sanctioned 24 more Chinese and Hong Kong officials over the continued crackdown on political freedoms in the semi-autonomous city. That comes as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to meet his Chinese counterpart for the first time tomorrow in Alaska after visiting U.S. allies in Asia. The U.S. Senate today unanimously confirmed Katherine Tai to be the country's top trade negotiator. She's the first Asian American and the first woman of color to serve in the position. Tai has pledged to hold China accountable for its actions and to protect American jobs. The U.S. Senate also began discussing legislation that would ban discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. The Equality Act narrowly passed the House last month. In a Senate hearing, transgender teen Stella Keating spoke virtually on its potential impact.
Less than half of the states in our country provide equal protection for me under the law. What happens if I want to attend a college in a state that doesn't protect me? Right now, I could be denied medical care or be evicted for simply being transgender in many states. How's that even right? How's that even American?
Republican opponents argue the measure would unnecessarily curb religious liberties. Its fate in the Senate remains unclear. In California, organizers seeking to recall Governor Gavin Newsom face a deadline today to submit 1.5 million petition signatures to get their proposal on the ballot. The Democratic governor's popularity has fallen as some Californians remain outraged over his handling of the pandemic. And 3 passings to note tonight. The president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, has died. The East African country's vice president said he died of heart failure. He was a prominent COVID-19 skeptic and had not been seen in public since the end of February, sparking rumors that he had contracted COVID. John Magufuli was 61 years old. Conductor James Levine, the longtime leader of the New York Metropolitan Opera, who was fired over sex abuse allegations, has also died. His physician said he died of natural causes on March 9th in Palm Springs, California. Levine was the driving force at the Met for more than 40 years. Here he is in 2011 conducting Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Levine was fired in 2018 after an internal investigation uncovered evidence of decades of sexual abuse and harassment of younger men. James Levine was 77 years old. And Dick Hoyt, the father who for decades pushed his quadriplegic son in a wheelchair through the Boston Marathon, has died. The duo had their final finish together in 2014 after completing 32 Boston marathons and participating in over 1,000 races. Dick Hoyt was 80 years old. Still to come on the NewsHour, we speak to a leading Republican senator about the border crisis and more. The White House aims to highlight the COVID relief law's education benefits. The unproven theory of bat-to-human transmission of COVID-19 has a devastating effect, and much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.